Hi guys, and welcome to this last part of the Jimmy Page lesson bit before we start talking about how we got the tone. And what we're doing here is we're applying this whole full scale concept to a Jimmy Page solo, okay? And we're taking his more kind of slow 12-bar blues, but minor blues specifically here, because that's how we're going to apply all those minor notes, of course, okay? And the first thing I want to say is that I wouldn't suggest that your aim here is to play exactly what I've played, is to play the exact solo exactly as it's played with the exact rhythms, because it will just take too long. With this style of 12/8 blues, so this is real slow blues. I mean, just to demonstrate, if I put the drum beat on, this is the kind of speed that we're working with. Okay, so really slow, really steady. And because of that, all the licks are going to be end of time, out of time, especially if you combine that with Jimmy Page's unbelievable ability to just change the timings of everything constantly. The dynamics are all over the place. It's a real kind of creative solo, and therefore it's not particularly rhythmical, okay? So what I want you to do is, as we go through each lick, learn the lick, okay, and really focus on getting that lick sounding great, but don't worry too much about being able to piece every lick together perfectly for the entire solo. Okay, that's not what this session is all about. If you want to go down that road, then go for it, but don't get too bogged down with it, okay? Just try and roughly get it together so you can put it over a 12-bar backing track. So, with that introduction done, let's start with the first two licks, okay? Now, the very first lick sounds like this. And then, okay? So let's just take you through that. Now, first of all, let's put ourselves in key. We're in the key of C minor, okay? So we're here, pentatonic shape 1, and we're going to be using pentatonic shape 2 as well, quite a lot, and little bits of shape 3 up here, okay? We're also, of course, using the full scale now, so the C minor scale, which looks like this, okay? And of course the second shape, full scale. These are all the ones that we went over in the last part of this course, okay? So they're the note choice, and they're the notes that we're going to be using. We also occasionally use a little bit of the shape 5 as well, okay? So let's just go through this first lick. Now the kickoff is basically the 8th fret, followed by the 8th fret of the B string, and then the 11th fret bent up a full tone. Now let me first start by saying that the dynamics in these licks are going to be the main part of it, okay? So you could play this lick like this, okay? But Jimmy Page plays it like this. Okay, so subtle but dramatic difference, okay? First of all, dynamically with these first two notes, we're individualizing them. So we're going bop, bop, rather than da-dum, so they blend in, okay? We don't want that. So we're kind of palm muting them. And then we're going to grab this bend and we're going to go up so slowly it hurts. You know, it's almost out of tune for most of the bend. And then finally, it gets into tune and we give it some glorious Jimmy Page vibrato, okay? For a lot of this, you know, we're deliberately turned down in volume as well, okay? So I'm deliberately turned down, playing it very, very softly, okay? So I'm going to hear it kind of just totally fade away, okay? Then for the second half of this lick, we're going to go like this. So here, dynamically, we bring it up. So we hit it harder, and we're basically going to go classic bluesy thing, okay? But again, very staccato, so rather than, you know, totally fluid kind of Chuck Berry licks. We've got the bend on the 10th fret, half step or full bend, whichever you prefer, and then we've got the 8/8 staccato, and then we're going to come down to the 11, pull off to the 8, stop it dead, then the 10 twice, pull off to the 8, stop it dead, down to the 10, which we're going to hit twice, and then just back to the 8s, which we're just going to stop dead. Okay, so you get this. Now that staccato feel, that aggressive attack with the plectrum, you can hear I'm kind of quite viciously attacking that, but also the kind of fidgety double note sound is the Jimmy Page experience. Okay, so this, you know, just constantly picking, basically, you know, whether it's right or wrong, it's just kind of constant, and it's fidgety, and you can really see that, especially in his live playing, that it's all kind of very, very fidgeting. So there's your first lick. So we've got the, let it fade out, and then more aggressive second lick. Okay, so sorry, that's still the first lick, the second half of it. Now the second lick is going to go like this. Okay, so you can hear we're right down here. We're really taking it easy now. We've just done that big aggressive lick, and now in that pentatonic shape 1, we're going to take the 10th fret and we're going to grab it once, then we're going to bend it up a full tone, then back down to the 10, 8, 10, bend. So you get this. Again. So it's a nice little just back and forth, just on 2 notes really, plus the bended note. But that bend at the end is again really slow and really tender. And then to continue up this kind of dynamic theme of very soft, very relaxed, we're going to take the 11th fret, bend it up a tone, and bring it back to the 8th fret. Okay. So your second lick is this. Now don't worry if you start doing vibrato and you start hearing this. You know, you hear more of the movement of the guitar and the kind of you touching bits of strings here and there, because Jimmy Page gets that all the time. It's another thing that actually is deliberately in the playing quite often. So your lick 1 and 2, lick 1. Lick 2. And there we have it. So get those 2 licks together. Like I said, don't worry too much about joining them together. Just learn them separately. Learn the dynamic behind them. And of course, remember what pentatonic shape or full scale shape we're in whilst we play them.